Revolutionary here, bringing you yet another iteration of my One Piece reflections for the month of May. It is now the final day of May the 31st, mind you, and as you know, I always bring you reflections on the past One Piece chapters that we get throughout the month. Now, we only got 2 chapters this month, with a sort of a bit of a break in the middle, but these 2 chapters pretty much started to sum up what's going to happen at the Reverie. So, let's begin with the first one. Chapter 904, the commanders of the Revolutionary Army appear. Now, this happens to be the chapter where we see what happens to the rest of the Revolutionary Army, at least the ones that were at Baltigo during Blackbeard's attack, where he the Blackbeard pirates completely decimated their base, and their location was known to the entire world. And it was left upended on a cliffhanger of whether the members of the Revolutionary Army actually survived that attack. But here is a chapter where we find out what happened to them. And they've all relocated to Emporio Ivankov's very own island of Kamabaka Kingdom, where they're all just residing with the rest of the Yokomas. And I said in my reaction to that chapter that no one's going to come to that island thinking the Revolutionaries are there. Well, I think... who else knows that Ivankov is part of the Revolutionaries? Doesn't matter. But at this point, we're introduced to... hold on. It's at this point where we see everyone is at the Kamabaka Kingdom. And then it's at this point that Dragon decides to declare war on the world nobles and the Celestial Dragons. On the Celestial Dragons during the Reverie. And we also find out that the German Kingdom is no longer considered a nation, part of the world government. So their ability to attend the Reverie has been rendered moot due to the events that transpired, I guess, during the Whole Cake Island incident or whatever. And it is in this chapter that we cut to, what is it, the Lelouja Kingdom? Yes, the Lelouja Kingdom, the same kingdom that Princess Monokane, I can't remember her name. The princess that was kidnapped by those pirates who were also apprehended by Kobe and Helmeppo. This is the first time we see the citizens of that island, and they're all being attacked by a pirate by the name of Pinkbeard. It says Peachbeard in one of the translations, but Pinkbeard is the official name, who happens to be a subordinate of Blackbeard. And he was actually given that name by Blackbeard. And he's attacking all the people on the island. And this is where some marine ships are there, but none of the marines are there. And during this period, just woke up, I'm just a little bit drowsy. My apologies. But during this point, Peachbeard is attacking the citizens, and he decides to take their money, and all the money that's there happens to be the tribute money for the Celestial Dragons. And he feigns sympathy for, who is it, Moda? A girl from cover story from way back when, I think since Ace's cover story. And he feigns sympathy and says, oh, that's so sad. Find out where the money is. And this is where we're introduced to all of the members of the Revolutionaries. First up, we have Morley, who is the commander of the West armies of the Revolutionaries. And he comes out of the ground, and people are just wondering, what's going on with him? What is a giant doing coming out of the ground? Now, I thought that he's a massive giant who just wears a skirt. I thought it was a kilt, but he wears a skirt because he's an Okama. I didn't notice this at first, but he's an Okama, so I'm pretty sure he comes from Kamabaka Kingdom. So he comes up out of the ground using a massive trident to hit a lot of the pirates on Peachbeard's side, and I thought that it was his trident that caused the waves to go across the ground, because in certain panels he jabs his trident his harpoon trident into the ground, and it causes waves of the ground to actually upheaval but keep its same consistency enough to actually injure the pirates. But it turns out that it's actually a devil fruit that allows him to manipulate the ground. And this is makes him the 4th person to have such an ability. First we have Inazuma. Then we have Senor Pink. Then we have Pika. Now we have Morley with all ground manipulating devil fruit abilities. So he injures them, and he actually happens to be that shadowed figure in Doflamingo's speech all the way back in chapter 801. So if you notice, he's actually that shadowed person where Doflamingo's giving his whole speech about the throne of the king of pirates and how the war for the throne is going to begin after he's apprehended. Then we have Bello Betty, uh, everyone's favorite Bello Betty of the East Army. And she has a very rude way of talking to people, even though she's there to help the citizens. I wouldn't say she's there to help the citizens, but she's there to encourage them to help themselves. But she has a very rude way of talking to people. Like she'll show some sympathy, but at the same time she'll call those same people she's lending a hand to trash. Like, what are you trash doing? You want to die or something? But she also has the ability to literally pump people up. She has the pump fruit ability, and she has in the panel that she's shown, she has a flag that she waves around, and when I don't whether that helps her with her ability or just her words that actually cause her ability to work, I don't know, but maybe her having a flag motif just sort of, encourages people. But with her pump up abilities, she's able to increase the physical capabilities of the people who hear her. And this, of course, encourages the citizens who are being robbed and manhandled by Pinkbeard, and his own pirate crew. It encourages them to pick up arms and literally go toe to toe with those very same pirates that they were scared of and wishing that Navy and Marines were there to actually assist them. And in the process, they end up beating up the majority of the Pinkbeard pirates. And then we have Lindbergh, who is now confirmed to be a cat mink. He's a short little fella, but he also is pretty much a master inventor, it would appear, because he moves around on a jetpack and he has multiple weapons that do things that I would see Mr. Freeze do from Arkham City. He has an actual gun that can shoot out ice that can freeze weapons. And he's just gung-ho about using his new weapons on the Pinkbeard pirates. And then we have Karasu, who is Lindbergh is the commander of the South Army. Sorry, I forgot to mention that. He's the commander of the South Army, and he uses his own inventions to fight. Then we have Karasu, who happens to be his abilities. Karasu is the commander of the South Army, and he has a Devil Fruit ability that allows him to turn his entire body and clothes into a murder of crows. So, this confirms that he happens to be the very same person that was taking Sabo away from Dressrosa, and in the process, Sabo was talking. He's the one that Sabo was talking to in chapter 794. But this confirms that the Crows is actually the commander alongside Sabo that was flying away from Dressrosa. And the thing about Karasu is he's a quiet individual. I think he has a speaker inside of his crow beak mask, but he's like a silent individual that doesn't really say much, but he gets kind of upset when people say that he's a very quiet individual. But as they're there, they help out the people. They pretty much help out all the citizens that are being attacked by Pinkbeard. And after all said and done, they leave a card for the citizens so that whenever they feel like they need help, they're there to lend a hand for those who are willing to rise up and fight. So this is our introduction to the commanders of the Revolutionary Army. And in the process, the reverie begins in 2 days. That's the whole chapter, just being introduced to the majority of the commanders from the Revolutionary Army, just seeing their whole dynamic. It just makes me wonder who else is powerful on their team. Like, we have these 3 people, we have 4 people, well, 3 of them with abilities, but we have these 4 individuals who are commanders of the North, South, East, and West armies. And I'm just wondering what's going to happen next. But then we do find out what happens next. In chapter 905, A Beautiful World. There we see multiple people from different kingdoms convening on New Marineford. This is our first appearance in chapter 905 of New Marineford. We've seen like a little glimpse of it when we've seen Fleet Admiral Sakazuki making his comments on the newspaper printing out all the events that transpired on Whole Cake Island and Luffy's brand new bounty. But this is our first real look at New Marineford since the War of the Best, and we see that G1, the old Marineford base behind the Holy Land of Marijois, is now G1, and the new base placed in front of Marijois is now New Marineford, which has been beefed up to be twice as large, if not 3 times as large as the original Marine headquarters. And it's now in front of the Red Line. We see Holy Land of Marijois. We see, oh man, I forgot what the place was called. Neither here nor there. We see the new Marineford quarters in all its glory. T-Bone makes his first appearance since the time skip. Garp, and this is something that I didn't really notice, but this is our first debut of Garp since the time skip, not counting the flashbacks when we were in the Dressrosa arc, when we was looking at flashbacks of him versus Don Chinjiao. Now, this is our first appearance of Garp during the time skip, and he's escorting, who is it? He's escorting Stelly, but we'll get to Stelly in a minute. And we have like little pieces of the town where people can ride up to Marijois on a little elevator-like devices called bandolas, which is like bubble-style elevators, platforms. And we see multiple people from multiple kingdoms. Sorry if I'm stammering over my words, but I'm excited because these chapters were really good this month. We see multiple people from different kingdoms. First up, we have King Beer the Sixth. Now, I know when I did my reaction to this chapter, I mispronounced his name. I said something, either it was Beer V, but I never noticed that it was just a Roman numeral. But King Beer the Sixth and his Matryo princesses, which is, at the time, I didn't know they were patterned after Matryoshka dolls from the Russian culture. And they're from the Rushwan Kingdom. Then we have King Hamburger from Bollywood Kingdom, and his appearance is akin to that of, well, King Beer the Sixth's appearance is literally it literally has a Russian motif. And he's completely dressed up in garb that you would normally see from old school Russia, complete with a Ushanka hat and everything. And the Matryoshka princesses are pretty much dressed up in what you would see painted on Matryoshka dolls. Then we have King Hamburger from the Bollywood Kingdom. He looks like a mix between Uncle Sam and Abraham Lincoln with his whole getup. And he says he walks slowly, but he's never been one to turn away and turn around for anything. Then we have Queen Mororon from the Taijine Kingdom. Then we have, I forget what title they give her or whether she does. Well, from what we see in the panel, people say that she's very beautiful. Then we have King Tacos from the Shishano Kingdom, and he has a bit of a Hispanic Mexican motif going with him. Then we have King Neptune and his family, Prince Fukaboshi and Shirahoshi and the rest are making their way to the Reverie. This is the second time that they've actually managed to go to the Reverie since becoming a member nation of the world government. And then we have the first facial appearance of everyone's favorite hated little kid from the Goa Kingdom during Sabo's Pass, none other than King Stelly himself. And we all see just what a bit of a jerk he is, because he's not only stupid, he's also incredibly rude to people who are greatly more likable and more powerful than him. Like, he literally talks down to Garp, saying that since you're just a citizen of my kingdom, you should treat me with respect. But we all know that Garp just does not care. Garp is not intimidated by anyone. But Stelly is just awestruck over the fact that his own citizen talks to him the way he does. And the reason is, Stelly became king under the mysterious deaths of the previous king and prince. Mysterious. Yeah, he orchestrated that. And as they're going, as we see Stelly and his dynamic, his treatment of other people, how incredibly racist he is, like the fact that he considers fishmen just very weird and that they could have some weird disease. He's terribly stupid and misinformed, just like most nobles. Uh, they, it's not surprising that Stelly could be this so demeaning. I mean, we all seen how he treated Sabo when they were kids. And the only reason why Stelly, and I'm just, it's just, I'm thinking about Sabo's past where his parents literally adopted Stelly because Sabo wouldn't become a world noble. So they decided to get another son that would be willing to move up in the world and increase their status as world nobles, not even caring about Sabo's needs whatsoever. They just wanted a son that could make them more well known, and Stelly is pretty much the result of that. So I wonder what happened to Sabo's parents now, considering that it's in time skip and they all gotten a lot older. I'm just wondering what happened to his parents. Are they still nobles or something? Neither here nor there. Then we see that Morgans is aware that Luffy, Ace, Sabo Dragon, and Garp are originally from the Goa Kingdom. Both Fuji and, oh boy, here's where it gets interesting. Fujitora returns to Marine headquarters, despite Sakazuki saying that he would be shut out from any Marine headquarters, and then he says he sends Marine Admiral Ryukugiyu over to kick him out. But in the process, they both just have a casual conversation. And from the speech that we see, it would appear that Ryukugiyu is male, and he has not eaten for 3 years because he doesn't know if a pretty babe would come his way. So I guess he's trying to not get fat or something. We don't know what the concept of this is. But Fujitora and him are having a calm, casual conversation, and Fujitora's eating, and he offers some food to Ryukugiyu, but he's all like, nah, man, I'm good. So, and during this conversation, Ryukugiyu asks how was his visit to Vegapunk, and Fujitora says that he never actually seen Vegapunk, but he knows that Vegapunk has made brand new inventions, incredible new inventions, ones that will make the 7 warlords completely obsolete. So I'm curious, what does this mean? Like, we have, I forgot to put you on silent, but we have Boa Hancock, Draco Mihawk, Bartholomew Kuma, Edward Weevil, Buggy. Who else do we have on the warlords? Because Doflamingo's gone, Trafalgar Law is gone, Crocodile, obviously, Jinbei, obviously, Blackbeard, obviously. Who else is left on the warlord side? I'm missing someone, ain't I? Doesn't matter. But it says that that Vegapunk has made inventions that will make the warlords obsolete. So I'm curious on what these inventions are. Are they going to be like upgrades from the pacifistas, where the warlords are no longer necessary to keep other pirates in line? Like, think about it. What inventions is so incredible that it would render people as powerful as Mihawk and as powerful as Boa Hancock and even as powerful as Bartholomew Kuma no longer necessary to keep pirates in line by the world government? What could those possibly be? Who knows? I mean, Vegapunk is literally centuries ahead of his time. Even inventions that Frankie has incorporated into himself are leagues beyond any technology that is in the world today. And these are because they are Vegapunk's very own inventions. So, I'm just curious, what could these inventions be that would make the warlords no longer necessary? That's something that I'm kind of curious with. But another thing, let's go back to the Ryukyu Kingdom. Shirahoshi is finally on the surface. She sees the sun for the first time. She sees the clouds for the first time. She sees birds for the first time. She's literally wondering if a single tree is an actual forest. But then again, she has never seen an actual above ground forest. So Garp is all like, no, that's just a regular tree. And then as they're going on to Bondolas, Stelly's incredibly one-track minded way of thinking is all like, oh, these fish people, what are they doing here? They carry diseases. They smell like fish. I wanted to punch Stelly, but he's not here, so I can't do that. And as they're going up the gondolas, Stelly sees something sticking out of the mountain, and it looks like a giant who happens to be Morley, one member of the Revolutionary Army infiltrated. Then we have them seeing a murder of crows heading their way, and Stelly is concerned that the crows could pop the bubbles, but one of the guards says, no way, there's no way that they could ever pop the bubble moving up on the gondolas. Another member of the Revolutionaries. And then as we see, as they're going up, and here's one thing I forgot to mention, but Bello Betty and Koala and another unnamed revolutionary member are all in the Kamabaka Kingdom, just talking about how the world government is not the target for their declaration of war. Their war is with the world nobles themselves. Whatever happens to the world government, I don't know what they plan to do with it, but the world nobles are their target for their war. And I'm completely okay with it. So, as this is going on, Morley has infiltrated the marine base, and Karasu has infiltrated the marine base. And in the final panel, we have one of the guards saying, do not worry, everything will be fine, King Stelly. And it turns out that it happens to be none other than Stelly's adopted brother, Sabo himself, posing as Stelly's very own guard. 3 members of the Revolutionary Armies, 1 chief, second chief of staff, the chief of staff, and 2 commanders of the South and, North and West. The North and West commanders have infiltrated the Marine headquarters along with the Chief of Staff. Here's my thing, though. You got the 2 admirals there, too. Not only that, but Fleet Admiral Sakazuki's there, Fujitori's there, and Ryokugyu is there. And they're going to declare war? There's absolutely no way that this is going to go unscathed. And not to mention Sengoku is there, too. Sengoku, Garp, Sakazuki, Fujitora, and Ryukugyu. 2 of people who have been called monsters because they've been recently drafted into the Marines. And then you have these other immensely powerful Marine people, Sengoku especially, and Garp. Like, literally, Garp is just pure brutes, pure brawn. He has absolutely no devil fruit abilities, and he's just pure strength. Able to go toe-to-toe with Gold D. Roger himself. And they're there. And they're going to declare war on the world nobles at such a highly secured and monumentally important event for kingdoms and the world government as a whole. And they're just going to crash the party and declare war on the world nobles. I cannot wait. But that's all the time I have with reflections for today. I cannot wait to see what April, May, June brings in terms of One Piece content. Oh, so many things are going to be happening this month. I cannot wait. I'm also looking forward to One Piece World Seeker. That looks very interesting. I'm still hoping that we can play as other Straw Hats, or maybe other characters in general. But if it happens to be just Luffy, as long as the gameplay story and everything about it is cool, then I'm fine with it. Hope y'all enjoyed. I can't wait to see you all in the next video, so have a fantastic day. Thank you for taking the time to watch me. And as always, later, peoples!